With an absolute banger in the books, FNC and T1 had an incredible battle in the recent group stage. While I think the gameplay itself was indeed a deciding component of what made this game so exciting, I'd argue it was more so the draft that actually was a difference maker in this game, and I absolutely loved some of the adaptations that were done to force advantages across the map. This was an example of creative, confident, and calculated drafting, and I'd love to showcase what it's about. As always, if you enjoyed this content, would love a lot to support the channel. Let's hop in the draft. Starting phase 1, FNC banned out Aatrox, Fiora, and LeBlanc, while T1 rid themselves of both facilitators in Sejuani and Maokai, and also get rid of Yuumi. The fact that T1 invests 2 bans into choking both of these tanky picks means that they do not want the draft going in that direction at all, and they want to be able to increase volatility in those lanes. The natural cost of forcing the draft in this direction means that FNC will be able to swipe away the Aatrox as their opener. T1 further demonstrate the style they want to play by giving Faker Akali super early here, as well as bonding Aphelios for Guma. Poppy and Azir make a very quick response by FNC, as these two champions are becoming a prime combo together. This sets the stage for FNC's comp to revolve around a ton of AoE, a ton of teamfighting, and stable lanes in top and mid. They do volunteer to a losing matchup for Azir in the mid game, but the Poppy W should be able to negate the effects of that, especially for Faker's Akali. Overall, in fights and whatnot, it should be hard for Akali to function normally, so I actually think it's pretty smart to introduce this pairing. For R3, T1 opts to pair the Aphelios with Thresh. Although it's a good traditional pairing with Aphelios, based on how the draft has opened up so far, I don't really think it's necessary to pick it this slot. Thresh has been increasing in priority a bit over the course of Worlds, but he's by no means in a state where he can command enough priority in drafts with this slot. He'll pair well with the mobile ADCs like Aphelios or even things like Jinx, but we're also in a meta where there's actually a lot of good pairings for him as well. Champions like Lulu and Renata are still in the field as well, and these are options that fare well into what FNC are offering so far. I won't harp on the pick too much though as we hop into phase 2 bans. As of the first 3 picks at a high level, both teams function similarly right now in terms of sources of power. The main difference would be the dynamic of the matchup with mid, with the early and late game power that Azir has, and also the fact that both teams have draft users just in different lanes in order to counter what the other team wants to do. T1 arguably have less flexibility in this case because most jungle champions in the meta right now are functionally the same, so realistically they've only got a top R5 to really play with. They start this off with an R4 Viego, which is the main jungler left that can still function pretty well while ignoring Poppy's kids. FNC have to show their cards on B4, B5, but in bot lane especially, you have a lot of options to completely shift the identity of your draft. This is thanks to the raw diversity available in the game right now in the bottom lane, and we've got both AD carries and supports with pretty much every style of lane imaginable and with team fighting. What I was not expecting, however, was a salty runback of the Lucian Nami. Although traditionally, this lane has slapped pretty hard in terms of its ability to curb stop many lanes and carry team fights, it has fallen off tremendously in terms of priority in draft because Riot hatched out the electrocute combo that defined its one-shot laning playstyle. However, FNC just slammed this lane, fully confident that they can dominate the map. For R5, Jax is the counter pick into Aatrox or T1, and T1 is once again committing a split style that thrives off of their skill expression in certain scenarios, rather than their raw champion's ability to outperform. If anything, I'd say FNC have a pretty good advantage in this draft because they have winning matchups full stop around the map in the early game, and in late game fights, I believe that they outscale. Side lane potential and chaos is where T1 can get an advantage in this draft, and they're no strangers to this sort of playstyle, but it will be very hard for them to get much done on the map, and if they can't get their footing by the time their window in the mid game comes with their side laners, I don't really see a world where they can win. It is T1 though, so you can really never count them out, but I don't think this draft did them any favors. I think the Lucian Nami adaptation was super smart from FNC, and I think they were rewarded with the initial game state being in their favor. Overall, I rate this draft 60-40 in favor for FNC. As always guys, hope this analysis was helpful to you all, and I will catch you in the next one. Stay fresh.